Hey, this is Hardline Destructoid's video game news podcast. I'm Jordan DeVore. Today I've got Hamza Aziz with me.
Hey.
Looking like Hamza always does. Also, Steven Hansen.
Salamat pagi.
What?
The fuck?
And Dale Nord.
Hey.
What was that?
Meow, 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 or whatever he said.
That's what it sounded like to my ears.
Yeah.
So today we got some stuff to talk about. I mean, I think one of the bigger items this week so far has been you played like 35 hours of Final Fantasy Lightning Returns, right, Dale?
So yeah, I always have this. This is totally unrelated, and yeah, I have. I have this rant, and I guess remind me about it later. That the total playtime logged on your save file is never your total playtime because it doesn't count deaths. Right? It doesn't count deaths and restarts. So. I haven't died that often, but it has to be more like 45.
Mm-hmm.
I guess 8 to 10 hours of deaths. That game's fucking hard, man. It's a hard
Yeah,
game.
I mean that was one of the surprising things I saw from your preview was that it is difficult, and there's that time element too, which just sounds like a lot of pressure.
It's stressing me out a little bit. Now, I'm pretty much near the end. I feel like it's wrapping up. And it keeps saying I have a day left, but it keeps fucking with me. He's like, you got a day left, and then the day's over, and like, you got a day left. So it might be just, I don't know, they might be pulling my chain, but it's starting to make me nervous, right? Like, when I play a role-playing game, I just want to screw around. I just want to, like, I talk to every NPC twice to make sure they don't say the same thing. You know, I'm one of those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So for me not to be able to do that, it's kind of stressing me out. But the gentle push the game gives you to keep moving is pretty good, too, so...
I don't think I could play this game because I rented Majora's Mask once, and I was too scared to play it because of the moon and like the timer. I cannot do, with the exception of Dead Rising, I cannot do games where you have a time limit. I just cannot deal with it.
But for people that call Majora's Mask the best Zelda game, they'll tell you that's why, or at least that's part of one of the reasons why. So this might work for some people. It's okay for me. I would rather be able to spend all the time in the world. I don't know.
Well, the game sounds... Also, the other thing I thought was funny is that it just sounds really, really silly.
Yeah. Like, they're not fucking around with silliness. They want to make sure you know that they're having fun, right? And it's kind of hard to know in the beginning when you first start playing the game because it covers some old ground on the backstory, and it's just about as serious as it can get without spoiling. You know, people die and people come back to life, and people are sacrificing for each other and all this shit. And then all of a sudden there's a cutscene and you have a dead chocobo on your head or whatever you decide to dress up on, and that is one of the options. So outside of the beginning, yeah, it's silly. It's about as silly as I get. Silly, fan service. The funniest music I've ever heard in a video game. I don't want to spoil anything, but there is some just laugh out loud funny and intentionally, not laughing with them, not at them kind of things. So it's a good time, unless you have something up your ass and you just don't like to have fun. Look,
Is it giving you like those Titus laughs?
A little bit, yeah.
Sitting there, ha 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 ha.
But the laughs are easy to come by because it's pretty entertaining. If you hated the past two games and you were just kind of pissed off about them or they left a bad taste in your mouth, I don't know that this is going to help. But if you come up with an open mind and you don't really care that the whole thing isn't going to wrap up nicely and you're just out for a good time in a new RPG, yeah, it's a good game.
We got a question in chat about it. If we started at the end of 13.2, how well is the end summed up here?
So they addressed the end of 13.2 immediately. I don't want to get into spoilers, but like the end of 13.2 is a big what the fuck, you know. And they immediately get on it, and basically, even though the idea is silly, I'm just kind of leaving this open ended so I don't spoil anything. Even though the idea is silly, it really does immediately attack the end of 13.2, in that the reasonings really set up the story for the next one. I know that didn't make any sense. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I don't play Final Fantasy, so none of this makes sense to me, so that's okay.
Well, it doesn't make sense to people that do play it, you know? I have no idea what's going on. That's the first thing I said in my preview. I have no idea. It's fun, though.
You've played so much of Final Fantasy Lightning Returns that it inspired a song out of you too, didn't it?
That was great.
It really didn't. Like my natural instinct is anytime I think of anything, a song is attached to it, right? So as soon as I thought about making a video for the costumes, I had a song in my head. Now I will say that the song I put up on the site this morning is not that song. That song was inspired completely by something that you typed in our office chat. You know?
Oh, really?
Yeah, just you had some makeup lyrics that might fit in a Final Fantasy song about Lightning's costumes, right?
Yeah.
And so when you said you be no, I believe the exact quote was you be J-pop in my heart with your threads or with them threads, and I was like that's gold. So even though my song didn't fully convey the feeling, I at least fit that in there. And
I woke up this morning because I was in there when you guys were having this conversation yesterday. But when I woke up this morning, I was not expecting to actually see a finished song and video. It's there though. It's on DayZ's.
Well, the song's a piece of shit. It's just like a one-take kind of.
Yeah.
But you know.
I mean, it gets the point across.
If you have an idea, you got to go with it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I don't think anyone else is doing songs for their previews, so.
That's the Destructoid charm.
Yeah.
There's like one other place that like I guess is doing song reviews. I need to check it out because that's a kind of cool idea.
Can you do a live rendition of your song right now?
Nope.
That's a no.
Nope.
Figured. Yeah.
Sorry.
Well, you'll just have to go to Destructoid.com and check it out.
Yeah, please do.
We'll link it somehow.
Subscribe to my channel, please. I have like 8 subscribers. It would mean so much to me if you just like hit subscribe after you watch a video. I don't know. It's shameless. I'm sorry. It's just about as shameless as putting my own music on the front page. So, double terrible today.
Yeah, but people want to hear your music now.
I don't know. I feel almost as bad about that. So like I just got in. I went and had frozen yogurt, and a lot of it. In fact, I asked like how much, and the dude was like, it's like 10.6 ounces or something. I was like, okay, cool. I'm on the road to fatness. And then when I got done, I literally drove directly to the market and bought ice cream to take home.
Wow.
Yeah. So
So Atlas is about to come over after we're done with Hardline, and they're bringing us Choco Tacos. So we're gonna have that.
Oh yeah, the last time they came over, they brought us Taco Tacos. That was a good time.
Yeah.
Like chocolate smears on the controllers. And... You know, the Choco Taco ice cream is bullshit. Like everything else about it's good. The waffle thing is good. The sauce is good. The topping's good. It's just the ice cream is bullshit. It's like frozen skim milk. So I'm not complaining. Thank you, Atlas, for Choco Tacos. Appreciate it.
You guys are.
No, it was Choco Tacos
so
like
hungry.
40, wasn't it? We had beer and Choco Tacos. Which
Yeah.
is disgusting.
It was perfect. It was the perfect day.
Those Choco Tacos were my lunch last time they came over. I was like, well, I haven't brought anything. Oh, good. Choco Tacos.
Well, you're about to have some again once you get over here.
Yep.
I don't want to sound ungrateful, but Choco Tacos for lunch, man. That's not.
That is not a long-term decision. It will not pay off.
I mean, I can't talk again. Froyo straight into ice cream. Anyway.
Can't Choco Taco.
What else do we have this week? DayZ sold 1 million freaking copies in less than a month. It's been out not even 4 weeks yet.
Do you think people like zombie games?
Well, that's the thing. There's no zombies in the game yet.
I have still not seen a zombie in DayZ. I think I said this last time. I still haven't. I believe that they're in there, but I haven't played the game and I haven't seen them. I've only seen players being dicks to each other, which is funny to watch. Probably less funny to play.
Maybe that's where the 1 million sales come in. Everyone's just trying to find the zombies.
Maybe.
It's basically, I mean, this year's Minecraft. I mean, I know DayZ came out last year as a mod for Arma, but like this is the official standalone. Regardless, like people are going crazy over this more mature take on the open world survival stuff. Like Minecraft is kind of the same thing, except it's all cutesy and more for kids, whereas this is for adults and everything, and people are having a blast with it.
What are you gonna do when a kid starts playing this?
I'm sure they already are.
Why is Minecraft not for adults, Hamza?
That's what I was trying to get at, but I didn't say it as well easily.
I mean, the target audience, the audience that really consumes Minecraft are kids.
Yeah, that's
more
true.
So than
But was that the target
age.
from the beginning, or is it just?
I'm sure.
Probably not.
Probably not. No, I don't even think there was a target in mind originally. Notch just created this thing, and it kind of just blew up from there. Whereas I feel DayZ is more oriented for older audiences.
Well,
obviously.
I mean, just the fact that you are interacting with other players, you can talk to them, and you aren't really. I mean, yeah, you can do that in Minecraft as well, but you also can't like mercilessly murder people in Minecraft, to my knowledge, and rob them and hold them up at gunpoint and all that sort of fun stuff.
You guys are concerned about kids playing DayZ. I'm more concerned for kids playing Rust because there's so many dicks and dongs all over Rust.
Although I have been playing Rust actually, and I have not seen a penis in the game yet. I've seen it in videos, but
have you seen your own penis?
I've seen no penis because you can't see your own character model.
Oh.
And the servers I play on, I'm pretty sure by default you are clothed. Like that's an option you can have. So I haven't seen any dongs yet.
There's no penis versus penis servers?
No, there are, I'm sure, but I'm not on them. Like, I played an hour on a PvP server and then kept getting killed for no reason. I mean, you start out with just about nothing, that you are naked, in theory, but people will kill you anyway, because I guess it's fun. And so after about an hour of that, I was like, yeah, I'm going to move to a server where you can't kill other players, and that has been quite a bit more fun for me. But,
So to recap, Hamza hates penises and kids.
Whoa, I never said that. I love penises and kids. I should have said that in that sentence like that.
Yeah.
But whereas DayZ's just sold over 1 million, like I don't know if Rust has released figures, but they're currently #2 on Steam's top seller.
I'm sure it's not anywhere close to 1 million yet, but it's got to be up there quite a bit.
And people are loving this divergent, open type of games. I mean, there was concern when we first showed off Rust. I remember reading the comments on the preview trailer thing I put up, and people were like, "Oh, this is just like DayZ," and people were hesitant, but it's out and people love it and they want more of these type of games.
I can see why they were hesitant because of all the bullshit that came out before DayZ and Rust. Those knockoff games that were trying to be like them, but they were just pure garbage. I forget what they were called. You guys know what I'm talking about?
They changed the name of the one.
Yeah. Regardless, it was understandable why people were hesitant for Rust, but no, it's picking up now.
I mean, we shouldn't be surprised because it just goes to show those knockoff games sold really well, despite being complete and utter shit. So clearly there is a demand for emergent multiplayer games like this. Yeah, and apparently Rick Foom is interviewing Gary Newman next week. I didn't know that. That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, we're gonna have a good lineup on Mash Tactics next week. We're gonna have him, Gary, talking about Rust, and then another interview that's gonna happen is with the people behind Nidhogg. We're gonna have them on, and some other stuff will be happening as well.
Oh, it was the War Z and Infestation Survivor stories. If you want to know games to not buy, those are two.
I'm honestly curious what those games are like right now. If they've been updated at all or fixed, or have they just been completely abandoned? Are people even still trying to attempt to play it?
Rust is a pretty okay name for a video game.
I still don't get why it's called that, though.
I don't get it, but at least it stands out, and it's
memorable.
It's memorable, like
in
versus
a weird way.
Infestation survival stories. Like,
well, we can ask Gary next week on Mash Tactics.
Why is it called Rust? Yeah.
Probably because it's really cold and stuff. Rust in the winter climates. I think I'm from San Francisco. I don't know.
Yeah, there probably is rusting in the game. I don't know. It's a very weird game, and in a lot of ways, it's like not a complete experience yet at all. I don't know how familiar you guys actually are with it, but both, and the same thing goes with DayZ. I mean, these games, even though they're selling really well, it's like especially for DayZ, I don't want to play that until it's much further along in development.
Well, I had there's a similar game kind of coming out, Sir, You Are Being Hunted, where you're being chased over the English countryside by aristocratic robot gentlemen. And I kickstarted that because it looks amazing and funny and fun, because it's like those games, but with a more goal-oriented focus of like, okay, don't get killed by the robots. But that's been an alpha for like a month, and I'm sure it'll be fun to play. But I'm just like, wait, give me the full game, and then I'll play it.
Dale or Hamza, have you guys bought any early access or alpha games before?
No, I have no interest in getting anything early access.
Same here.
Especially with being in San Francisco, we're situated like in the heart of the game industry, so we see a lot of games early on for preview purposes that we cover on Destructoid. The idea of buying a game that's not even finished, it just turns me off completely. Like, I'm kind of actually getting sick of previews in general too. Like, I just gotta.
I definitely am. So yeah. I'm right there with you.
So I played a lot of Assassin's Creed 4 last year, right? When the game finally came out, the first chunk of the game is basically what I previewed, and I just don't want to go through that again. So I've kind of lost motivation to play through the game completely. I'm still gonna try, but I mean, my point is that I'd rather have a finished product in my hands before attempting anything with it ever again.
I'm the same way. I don't even want to touch something that's not finished. I mean, it may be great. And I don't doubt that there's not some value to be able to jump in a game early and mess around with it. And if you're super excited about something, sure. But if you don't, he's like, yeah.
He's super excited about something.
He's like, finish games, yes. But yeah, I'm the same way. Between all the stuff that we preview and all the stuff that's in my backlog and that I want to play, I'm not going to spend any time wasting, on an unfinished game.
I mean, I think most of us have enough finished games that we haven't played to even consider going after these work in progress.
I don't think early access is for us. It's for people who really want to be part of a alpha community and shape the game or sit there and play with other people. I mean, it's not, but. The people that are paying $60 for early access to Wasteland 2 on Steam are not just sitting around because I really want to play. It's they're into it, and that's cool for them. But yeah, I don't want to play not finished games either.
Although I will say, so Ubisoft has put, I think it's out now, Ghost Recon Online on Steam Early Access. That's not going to go over well.
I think it won't be as bad as we initially thought, because you got to remember that it's a free-to-play game. So at least people aren't paying anything to play the core content. I mean, you could purchase stuff for better equipment or whatever the hell you could do in the game, but it is kind of ridiculous that it came out last year as a standalone or on Uplay. On Uplay? Yeah. It's been available for almost a year, and then it is kind of, I don't know, weird to put it on early access. But I guess the core game isn't released yet either, officially.
I just meant, that is all true, but I just meant more of having a big name publisher putting games on Steam Early Access is, the people get so weird about some of these things, and I could see that being one of those issues. I don't really care either way. That's something I will definitely not be involved with. So.
When you mentioned it in text, I really thought it said Ghost Raccoon Online.
That should be an early access game. Ghost Raccoon.
A game called Ghost Raccoon. So someone needs to get on that.
It's like a hybrid, Ubisoft and Sony get together. It's like a Sly Cooper and also a tactical shooter. It could be good.
You said that as if it was actually happening. That was really convincing.
Yeah. Nothing would surprise me. Any kind of mashup that you would imagine.
Well, is it cat slugs or slug cats in that new Rain?
Oh, slug cats. Rain World. Oh my goodness, that game is so good. It's on Kickstarter right now if you want to back it. But that game is really beautiful.
Why is it beautiful? What is it about?
You're a slug cat in the end of the world in some like rundown urban environment with like cool like Blade Runner-y and Drive synth music, and it's like a mix of hunting smaller prey so you have enough food to survive for the next hibernation, and like avoiding and sneaking around and not being eaten by much more capable prey. And it's this like it's pixel arty, but like really like I don't know.
It's well animated, and it really goes to show what having an animator on your team can do, because it is pixel art, but it doesn't. You wouldn't be like, oh, it's pixel art.
No, it feels like high definition pixel art, like very small pixels, and it's super fluid looking. Like it's pixel art, but it looks as like fluid as like a Studio Ghibli movie.
It's like
with that kind of roundness, and there's like physics to it too that make it that help with that, and it's very fluid and flubbery.
It's kind of like zombie penises.
Well, we don't know.
Okay.
I don't think there's people. There might be animal penises of some kind.
Oh, great. Okay, cool.
Are you guys in now?
Okay.
No, I mean that's the hottest Kickstarter I've seen since Hyper Light Drifter, and I hope, like Hyper Light Drifter, it makes a bunch of money and comes to a bunch of other things, because Rain World on the Vita is, I mean, because that's like it's like a hard, supposedly very hard, challenging, precision-based game, and that kind of thing on the Vita is like playing Super Crate Box on the Vita or Spelunky on the Vita. It's good times.
Mm-hmm. Someone in the chat is asking if we have played that Badger game Shelter, which I have not, because it does not look fun.
No one has?
No.
No.
Shit. We're not doing our jobs.
I originally wanted to play that game, but the thing that put me off personally was Humps is telling me to say that person's name. I would, but I can't. I don't want to like botch their name. X Mikey Warrior X. Okay, that wasn't so bad. Originally, the thing that put me off of Shelter was it looks so washed out, and I can't deal with that. So.
Oh, you know what? I did play it for like 20 minutes. I liked it, and then I got distracted and haven't got back to it.
That's how I'm saying in a nutshell.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
I started up Banner Saga last night.
Ooh, there's another great name of a video game. Jesus fucking Christ. Not saying that it isn't a great game, but that name just...
Video game names are stupid. I think we can all kind of agree on that.
Especially that one. Oh my god.
Especially, I mean, no, yeah, no, they're all bad. Fuck, they're all bad.
Wow. You guys hate.
Case in point, Bionic Commando. That's all you need to say.
Bionic Commando has to win some kind of reward for the shittiest name of it.
And I love that game, but...
Oh yeah, me too.
If you were removed from everything we know, like if you had never seen games before and were like, what is this? Oh, it's Bionic Commando. Okay.
So if you had to take games from their names, there's no fucking way you would play Banner Saga. I'm just telling you that right now.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, there's a huge problem with Western naming conventions, especially like medieval RPG type stuff, where they just throw in, all the same Fall of and Revelations and blah blah Chronicles and all these stupid ass names, and then on the Japanese side, it's 358 over 2 days and
okay,
well, it's fractions and nonsense words, which is bad in a different way.
Yeah, and they just string a bunch of words together.
At least it's interesting.
It's memorable-ish, but they start to all get mixed up.
It's again bad for a different reason.
Yeah.
What was the other? God, there was some other game I was thinking of last night that's pretty new. It isn't as bad as Banner Saga, but damn it, I'll remember it because it'll just piss me off when I think about it.
Well, Hamza, how is Banner Saga? Even if you've only played a little bit.
It's okay. So visually, the game's gorgeous. Both with the cutscenes, it's all animated, and the in-game stuff looks great. It's a what is it, strategy RPG, which I'm not really into that much. So I'm gonna give it a chance at least. Maybe this will be different, but you know, it's like turn-based traditional RPG combat, but then it also has like that grid system where you have to walk up to your opponents first, but if you can't reach them, you just walk as far as you can. And it's a little tedious for what I usually like, but it also has this, like, I can already tell it has this really heavy narrative. I mean, there's multiple choices, different endings. What you do and say it will affect multiple facets of the game. And all that sounds great on paper, but I favor linear games way more than type games like this. So
See, all that is like front burner stuff for me. All that shit is my jam. Everything you said is like super plus happy time.
Especially the like Disney-like animation and design.
Yeah.
There's nothing I don't like about that game other than the name.
I've seen other people basically comparing the story to Game of Thrones, but like with Vikings. So people will die, people you care about will die, and all this other stuff. And
I like how that's the criteria for is it like Game of Thrones or not? People you care about die. People you don't care about die as well. Okay.
But I'll give it a chance again. We'll see. I also have Broken Age I need to actually get into.
I have that as well.
Another not great name.
I was going to ask if that was what you were thinking of, but I didn't want to get to it yet.
It totally was. It totally was.
Yeah.
We're also going to have, actually, speaking of Broken Age, we're going to have Tim Schafer in our studio here next week for a special live show where we're going to be playing Broken Age live with him.
Don't let him leave. Can you like lock the doors and keep him? I don't know what we do with Tim Schafer, but
just hug him a lot.
He would fund our company with all his Kickstarter money. Is what he would do. Please.
He just looks like a good hugger.
I know. I want to see him hold one of my corgis.
Yeah.
I think it'd be super cute.
We can get him to hold that office cat that just comes in the window.
So sometimes when we leave our windows open here at Detroit HQ, there's our neighbor's cat will just stroll on through, walking all over my shit, being all cute.
Being all cat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good to know. Good to know. Steven, tell us about the Wii U because you wrote a feature. And I don't entirely know what the situation is.
Well, I mean, what happened was is Eurogamer put out from Digital Foundry, they put out an anonymous piece of a developer who worked on a Wii U game, and it really starts from like before the console even existed, when Nintendo was like pitching like, okay, we're gonna make a new thing. What do you guys think? Developer input, all the way up until launch because they were making a launch game, and So then they had a lot of problems. They had bad communication with Nintendo. They had multiple dev kits coming in that just they didn't know what was changed, and they had to get the code working. The online system wasn't ready, for like basically up until launch. They just had to hope it worked. So a bunch of issues, and people were reading that as like a another one of those Nintendo Doom articles, and people got very upset. And then a bunch of developers started firing back what made this really fake, overstated drama. But like the firing back was like, one developer was like, yeah, those issues don't affect post-release systems, but the issue is like no one said they did. Like this Eurogamer piece was just a snapshot of this person working on a game with this company at this point in time prior to the console's release. So it was all these people, firing back and saying like this, and this, and the Wii U's easy to develop for, whatever. And it made this really dumb, fake controversy. So that's what my feature was about, is like, hey, like, everyone's right. These guys had some problems like 2 years ago, and now it's fine to develop for. This is a non-issue. This is a non-story. What are you guys doing? Why are you filling up, 800 comment threads arguing about this?
Well, your feature, asking that question, got 600 comments, so I can only assume that it's like a clusterfuck down in there.
Well, see, I was, I ignored a lot of the like people infighting, like inline replies with Discus, but a lot of the people who just commented on the article were like, cool, yeah, no, this is right. So I was like, yeah, okay, you guys get it. Like, this isn't an issue.
So I'm glad all these developers are having a better time developing for the Wii U now. Too bad no one's buying the Wii U.
You know, people are buying it. They sold plenty last Christmas. It just took them a long ass time to sell.
They sold plenty on Christmas because of Super Mario
Games
3D
are
World.
shit.
Well, and that was the whole other
Right.
point of my article is like the Wii U is in trouble in terms of like it's not going to be what it was, but it doesn't have to be the Wii, which is sort of an aberration. It doesn't have to be the Wii to be successful. And they have so much money between software sales, between not selling at a loss, between the 3DS, which has exploded. I think it's up. 3DS software sales last year were up 50% alone. And like they don't need the Wii U to be anything but a Nintendo box that plays Nintendo games that people will buy when they want to play their Nintendo games, and they'll buy their Nintendo games. And if other stuff ends up on it, that's good. But basically, like the people who the big AAA companies that that Eurogamer article says, okay, maybe those guys decided to put their money with Sony and the Xbox One, which they would have already known about. I mean, those guys weren't going to be developing for the Wii long term anyway, so it's not like there was anything lost there because they're trying to make their next gen whatever, and the Wii U's likely not going to be able to handle that. So the Wii U was only going to get the like end of generation ports from them anyway, so they didn't lose anything. And the people that are still going to be developing for the Wii U are Nintendo and the people making like other indie developers or just smaller companies making other weird different games like Wonderful 101. So they didn't lose anything there. But I think that's the issue is people want the Nintendo to be the dominant console that like with the Super Nintendo days. But it's been since then N64 that the Nintendo consoles have been first party boxes that also have some cool weird stuff additionally that you can play and maybe find fun.
I always try to say that's what a lot of us want and need from them, and it's not like we're looking for anything else. If you look at it from that perspective, you're happy, right? Like you want this, like you said, Nintendo box that something else may end up on that's weird and cool, and that's what you bought. I think people are thinking too hard about it.
Yeah, no, people want it to be something else, and it's not.
It's not going to be ever. I shouldn't say ever, but
no,
probably not ever
they designed it not to be.
Exactly. I mean, there's a reason the Wii U is what it is. They knew this stuff going in. At least I would. That's
yeah.
What it looks
they
like
didn't.
anyway.
They didn't think that the PS4 and Xbox One would be at the same technical parity with the Wii U. Like they developed this to do this, and that's what they're doing. And obviously I'm sure they would have liked it to have sold better and been working for them short term. But it's always going to be a long term game, and they're always it's gonna get better. And they could come in last place and still have a profitable console over all these years and be fine with that. I don't think they care. It's just, stupid internet people arguing about bullshit.
This is what happens when we have too much time on our hands, and we all do this. I mean, that's just the way the internet is. So.
Well, pretty soon a whole bunch of games are going to come out, and we don't have to be worried about arguing for at least a little bit. Until the summer slump, like post E3. And then we argue a lot again. It's like seasonal arguing, right?
Yep.
So we'll be back games for the Xbox and the PlayStation PC. Is there anything really coming on the Wii U that's going to be huge in the next few months?
Why do you got to go there? You just started arguing.
No, I'm genuinely curious.
Well, when's Smash Bros supposed to come out? Because that'll be
Bayonetta 2 is there.
Yeah.
Donkey Kong, I guess. I don't know.
Donkey Kong?
Yeah, Donkey Kong.
No.
I'm just wondering when people are gonna stop saying the same thing about the Vita, because there's so many good games that you can play on the Vita.
Well, that's the thing.
You're thinking about the Vita, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
it's like every time one really good game comes out, they're like, "Oh, I wish there was just one more game." That made me want the Vita. And then one more game comes out. It's, oh, I wish there was just one more game. Like, no, you don't want it. That's fine. Stop saying that you don't want it because there's not enough games. Like
the Vita is a perfect PS4 machine that I could play in my bed. That's what I love about the Vita.
Yeah, there's that. But I mean, my favorite 3 games of the last 2 years have been on the Vita. Gravity Rush, Persona 4 Golden, and then last year Tearaway. This year Gravity Rush 2 is coming out. I mean, I love the Vita, so...
Me too. I don't know, like, it's not a fanboy thing. Like, I'm not a fanboy of any system, right? I'm a fanboy of some franchises. You know, whatever. I get all these fucking game systems for free, you know? I don't buy them. I have multiples of a lot of these game systems. I'm not bragging, I'm just saying I don't have a system preference. I don't have a company preference. It's stupid.
You are a fan of whatever is the best or is good.
I'm a fan of a game system that has a lot of fucking games in it that I like. Mm-hmm. And it's a really well-designed game system with fucking cool features. That's a Vita. Like, there's nothing to not like about it. I mean, what the fuck? Whatever. I'm not gonna get into it. I'm tired.
No, and I was the same thing I'm saying to the Wii U argument. It's like
pretty much.
Like, don't you have enough games to play? I have too many games. I can't play them all. Why are you guys complaining that there's not enough games?
I don't have enough games. God. There's not a person that watching this that doesn't have a beastly backlog. I guarantee that. There's just too many good games for all these systems. It's your PC, holy shit. My PC backlog is frightening. Like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Well, I mean, the worst thing about my backlog is all the JRPGs that I can never finish because there's so many of them in my backlog.
No, dude, those are front burner for me. Everything else comes after. For me.
But it's I know. It's but they're so long. That's the problem. That's the only reason I'm never gonna finish them all.
That's what makes them good. That's what I think. Like, there's all these other short-ass games I could put on my back burner. These long ones that I can get into and enjoy. I'm gonna play those first.
I feel more productive if I'm gonna like finish off like 5 10-hour games instead of like 1 70-hour game. It's like, look at all those games I finished. Okay, well, I'll just not replay Vagrant Story right now. Well, Vagrant Story is not that long, actually, I guess.
No, it's not, and that's a badass game. You know, it's like watching a movie and letting the characters develop and the story develop for an hour and 45 minutes. Or watching a full season of a television show and just letting that slow growth and the plot twist and all the other shit that I just prefer it stretched out. Well, not stretched out.
It's man, I think television's really awful though generally.
Oh, sure. But
I mean, as like because there's been, especially with Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad and whatever, there's been all these arguments that like long form television is like this kind of in some way new art form or like expansion of film but I don't know if TV is the best. Like, I would rather play a lengthy video, like a television show that's like 20 episodes, like an hour an episode. I mean, that's a long game. That's basically an RPG or like a long like action game or whatever. And I'd rather play that if it had at the same quality for 20 hours than watch most television shows.
No, for sure. It's just an analogy. But yeah, long games rule. Short games drool.
You heard it here first. For me, the backlog isn't necessarily long games versus short games. It's I'm just going to keep playing the same 2 games that don't actually end because multiplayer or something else. So that's the pitfall I get into.
See, I don't have that problem. I bounce as soon as I feel like I'm good. I'm out. I'll probably.
But didn't you used to get really into MMOs though?
Yeah. That was a hard, long lesson.
You're done with those days.
Even this year or last year, it was hard to break up with A Realm Reborn. But like, I had to literally cut myself off and say, look, this is cool, and I'm getting sucked in. But I play games for a living, and I like the water cooler talk, and I want to be able to play everything I can. At the end of the year, I want to be able to make a decent call on everything that I can. I'm not going to do that by playing the same fucking MMO for... it kicks ass. I love that game, but I'm not going to keep playing it.
I've never played an MMO. And it's a very... I mean, it started as like never having a PC between like Myst and Portal, but since then, it's been a conscious decision to not get in with any MMOs because I just can't spend time like that.
It's a good way to go, man. Like, as enjoyable as they are, like, you know, for as many games as we have to play, we don't have to play that. In fact, that was a topic of discussion I was just reading on a little bit earlier today. Is you know, to do what we do, you don't necessarily have to play every fucking game. Like, Grand Theft Auto is not my thing. I'm probably not going to finish. I've never finished a Grand Theft Auto game, you know, and you know, you can't fault me for that. Like, I know what I'm talking about when I talk about the game. There's other games that are my specialty. You know, we don't have to play and go through every game to know about it. But I would still rather play as many as I can versus the one or two over and over and over.
Well, that is a big part of there's always like a sort of concern like that you're not up on all the hot games.
Yeah, you don't want to be behind, right? You know, you don't want to be the dude that's still talking about PlayStation 1 games.
I was just talking about PlayStation 1 games.
I was going to say, or maybe we do want to be that dude, because that sounds good to me.
Yeah, I just want to talk about Bushido Blade for the rest of the half hour.
I was just thinking about Brave Fencer Musashi earlier. That game kicks ass. So yeah, but the whole point is, if you weren't that type of person back then that tried to play a little bit of everything, maybe you missed Bushido Blade or Brave Fencer Musashi. You know, it's keeping up.
Well, I think that's the thing is not feeling beholden to the backlog, not feeling like you have to have played all these games. I mean, there's a lot of you know, blind spots in my gaming history that, you know, if the internet knew about it, they would like strangle me and call for my head and my job because, you know, I haven't played Half-Life 2. But it's like you can't. It's those kind of reactions of like, you know, you haven't seen this, you haven't played this, and like it's weird. It's
everyone has something that they are missing. There's well, maybe not everyone, but I don't want to know what a person who has played every game looks like. Like, I'm scared. They cannot be a healthy human being. There are too many games in existence.
Exactly, and there's this weird sort of like cultural currency of, you know, having played all these different games, but
showing off your bigger EP or your biggest nerd cred.
Yeah, exactly. It's silly, and you know, it's for internet commenters, not people like us who are reasonable.
Wow. At least I'm sure you'll agree though that like if you're not trying to at least keep current with the steady flow of indie games, that you really can't even hold up in the water cooler talk, right? So there was a long time where it was like, okay, whatever, I'm still playing these 3 games. You can talk about, you know, little PC whatever, and like I had no idea what you're talking about, right? But then there just became a point where I was like, what the fuck is everyone talking about? So I hunkered down and probably blasted through 10 or 15 games. I'm like, Jesus, I've been missing a lot of stuff. Now for me, it's like I'll play a big AAA game, or a lot of times 2 at once, and then in that downtime, I wouldn't call it downtime, but in my, I guess, break, I will pick up 2 or 3 games that everyone has been talking about just to see, and sure enough, pretty much every game I pop in is just like, fuck, I wish I had played this earlier, you know? It's a good place to be where we're at right now, where it's just so much to play, every genre, every type, every platform. Even Vita.
Even Wii U.
Even Wii U, yeah.
Even Ouya.
No.
No. Not so
they're getting Soulfjord exclusive to Ouya.
Every once in a while, I will write about some game, and it'll be like, it's coming to these platforms and these platforms, iOS, Android, and Ouya. And I'm like, do I even want to write Ouya in the post? Because I feel sad doing it.
Well, I feel sad writing that Soulfjord is still coming exclusively to Ouya.
God.
And unlike Towerfall, which
for
is
like 6 months probably, and then
but
no one's buying this. I should put it on another platform.
But Ouya funded Soulfjord development.
Yeah.
So I think it's stuck there, unlike Towerfall, which is getting like a really badass port.
Yep.
I'm glad they used that Kickstarter money for something good at least.
I love how Hamza laughs at his own cruelty and
Yeah, laughs at his own sass.
Oh, I'm great. I'm great.
No, there's someone out there has an Ouya that loves the shit out of it, right?
Good for them. Good for them.
No, I'm asking. Like, I don't
Oh,
know.
is there?
I haven't met anyone
The CEO of Ouya probably likes Ouya.
I think my favorite Ouya related thing was Rocco from Mega 64. He made a video on his own YouTube channel where he throws it in the toilet and then pees on it.
I missed that. I thought you were gonna bring up. They did that commercial with the guy vomiting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Cartoon. That was
weird.
pretty bad.
Amazing Frog was pretty cool.
That is the one
Yeah,
legitimately good thing about Ouya is Amazing Frog.
That is a system seller. That is like.
It probably
that's-
was.
Yeah,
There you
I'm
go
sure.
for good names. You talk about how you hate Banner Saga? Well, Amazing Frog, best name.
That's a really good name.
Everything you need to know about it. And it right there in the title.
Cat Lateral Damage, that's a good name.
That's
Oh, yeah.
fantastic.
I
That
can't
is
believe
a
it's taken that
good
long for a game like that to be made with the internet and how much the internet loves cats.
It's so fun.
Yeah. So for those who aren't aware, cat lateral damage is basically you're a cat. You're playing the game through the cat's perspective,
First
and
person.
the goal is to knock shit down off of things. So it's like a reverse Katamari Damacy, basically.
Cat Amari. Like you pay the big bucks. Cat Amari. Yeah, sorry. But yeah, first person kitty destruction.
Yep. And there you go, another indie game. Like this week's been full of like great indie releases or indie reveals because we have the Rain World, right?
Rain World.
Um,
Slug Cat the game.
What's the chef game called? Battle Chef Brigade.
Brigade. That I forgot about that until now. Good God.
What is that? I don't know
good.
about this.
They
Tell me.
describe it as Fantasy Iron Chef, so it's a fantasy RPG game where you are going to a pantry arena thing and kill monsters, and then you use them as ingredients. But you're like, when you're cooking for the competition, you're using magic, and there's like stats and numbers popping up. So I'm sold.
That's
And it
pretty much the
looks-
best thing I've ever heard of.
Yeah, it's like custom made for you, and the animation in art style is just stunning.
Again, like super Disney looking, but also like kind of Ghibli with all the just amazing looking food.
Yeah,
But yeah.
super glossy, like
Yeah.
almost gross. It's so realistic food. Oh yeah.
Mhm. But I mean, we're getting to a point where indie game news will be the majority of news. There's just so many damn games coming out.
I know. Do you remember a time where it was just like so hard for
Yes.
indie, like especially when they were out, hitting the pavement themselves? Any indie dude you would talk to would be like, "Fucking hell, I can't get anyone to write about my game,"
Mm-hmm.
and they would just barf press releases and call your phone and send you dildos or whatever, and like it's like, please talk about my game. And it's not like we didn't want to. It's just that we were busy. Now it's funny that we almost prioritize these cool, smaller, more interesting games.
Mm-hmm.
And the AAA guys are like, "Fuck, you're not gonna post trailer number 7 or developer
Diaries of God.
Yeah, like sorry, we have 300 screenshots over the course of half a year for your game. I want to talk about something else right now, and it's different and cool. Sorry."
And the great thing too with the indie stuff is like it's mostly on the PC, and a lot of these games, I mean, you don't need a crazy rig to handle it. You know, like if you want to play Battlefield 4 or Arma 3, you want to get the best setup you could possibly imagine. With Rain World or Cat Lateral Damage, what do you need? You just need your laptop basically, and you're good to go.
100%. So I gave up even trying to put stuff on my desktop rig, and pretty much 100% of my PC gaming has been on a laptop just because that's all I needed, I would love to get to a point where our little set-top, what do you call them, like streaming boxes, like DVRs or whatever, they just have enough horsepower to spit.
I would like it if even just a TV had that much power.
We're getting close.
Well, yeah, I mean,
either that or through streaming, like PlayStation
exactly.
Now.
That's going to be in TVs, which is mind-boggling.
That's what fucked me up when I first stopped PlayStation Now. I was like, I asked the Sony guy, I was like, how are these controllers connected? They were just DualShock 3 and they were wireless. He's like, oh, there's Bluetooth in the TV. The TV has everything that you need to facilitate like the streaming play. I was like, well, what the shit? This is like the coolest thing. I was like, that's just like some chips, right? And he's like, yeah. I was like, well, put that in everything. What are we doing? I'll put that in your tablet. But if it's just some chips and, you know, some basically something to pull down the stream and display it, and then something to receive controller input. I mean, yeah, I'm not an electrician or a designer or whatever, but they can't cost that much to throw in, especially Sony's premium priced product. You just anything, dump it in there. And I think we're getting close to that kind of gaming future, which is weird, but I'm down. They just had to think about the process. They had to tell us early on that we weren't going to buy games, right? They were going to be downloadable. Then they had to like convince us to pay for these games and all the pieces and updates. And then they trained us to subscribe to a service. And now it's just like we're hooked, and they can put that service on anything. And instead of being resistant like we used to be to it, now we're just like, we're ready.
Yeah, I had never really thought about it like that, but with PlayStation Plus, they really have warmed consumers up to this idea.
Yeah.
You're right. There really isn't that much backlash, if any, at all.
Where if this was something that came out, 7 years ago, people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not going to stream my video games.
I want my discs.
I want my disc, right, yeah, and I'm not going to deal with that latency or the decrease in quality of the video and audio. But now people are like, cool, I can have a shitload of games for X amount of dollars a month, and I don't need any hardware. Let's do it, I like it.
I do too. What I don't like, last story of the show, it's taking Maxis like 6.5 months to make SimCity playable offline. I just wanted to mention this so we can be like, that's bad, and laugh at. I don't even want to laugh at them. It's just sad.
No, I don't want to laugh either. Like, it's like they're like, everyone hates us. No matter when we can drop this, people are gonna talk shit.
Yeah.
Let's just hang out, let's get some froyo, let's just like hang out.
That they preempted that with like, oh yeah, you can mod, but here's like terms of service list of rules of what you can or can't mod. And then everyone was just really upset at them already. And then like a couple days later, okay, you can play it offline, but people were already angry. So
yeah. Well, that's another way to kind of go about it. Let people be pissed off and then drop some more bad news on them. Well, I guess it's not bad news. Probably what the fuck news.
I wonder if who's still playing SimCity? Who's been putting up with that game for this entire time?
Who's been buying it? People have been buying it. Someone out there is buying this game because it's still sold.
Yeah.
It wasn't a disaster by any means.
Well, because it's still SimCity and they don't know.
They don't follow.
A lot of people who don't know what's going on with that. And they just like, oh, SimCity. It looks really pretty.
The core game is good. It's just the tech was shit. Like, I don't have beef with the game.
Well, I mean, that's the issue. Even the asynchronous multiplayer stuff that was their excuse to keep it online only is potentially cool in theory, but they couldn't get servers that supported it, so they just screwed up the implementation, which led to people being angry.
I would just love to see on paper the fallout from that game's launch and then the subsequent, the patches and then this news. I would love to see like the fallout as far as like who got fired and who got docked and who got moved around and.
Like 10 big people have left EA in the last 2 weeks, so that's a thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I know at least a few of the designers who were responsible for SimCity. One particular, Ocean Quigley, they left Maxis to form their own studio right after SimCity launched. And I mean, there's been a lot of people leaving EA, really big names. I'm wondering how much impact SimCity and even Battlefield 4 with its really shitty launch.
Show. Yeah,
it is.
Do you feel like the EA's are just like they're learning like this really slow lesson from this, or they're just
think so. I think it was just unfortunate that they had. You don't? I think it is. I think the Battlefield thing was just like its own. They seem related, but I think it was its own issue. I think.
But it was like you had the issue with SimCity is again like maybe some cool ideas, but the tech and the implementation was botched completely. And then they released Battlefield and they tried to stretch it out and release it on 6 different platforms.
That's where they went wrong.
And they again just totally screwed the pooch and again for a primarily multiplayer game. So they didn't really learn. They still tried to do something that compromised the launch.
I think they did learn, but I think they also took into consideration that they could get away with it, and they took
and make
that
more
back.
money.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think like
sales,
we
Xbox
won't,
One and PS4 sales.
Yeah, we won't really know until I guess the next hardware generation
Titanfall.
if they do. And,
We'll
exactly.
know
Like
if any lesson was learned pre-Titanfall.
Let's see if Titanfall works.
Well, first I was gonna say I just remembered that a lot of the big names were saying that left. Well, they were like the heads of like PopCap or Burnout Studios.
Criterion. Yeah.
Criterion.
Yeah.
I think they just left because their contract was done and they just wanted to do their own thing.
Yeah, I think that's why it all came after the new year.
Yeah.
Because they were all just. But it does sort of raise the question, like, if you were happy at EA for however long, and then why abandon?
Well, I mean,
Why do you
think
hate yourself?
I think they were just in a contract and they just got tired of EA's whatever bullshit of how to develop games now.
They're all staying for the mashed potato bar. The people that are.
But no, but that's important though. That they wouldn't want to come back to EA.
Yeah. I think I am worried about Titanfall, but I think with how much support Xbox is putting behind it, Microsoft, and the fact that it's Respawn, we have less to worry about in that regards with the online infrastructure and stuff. We'll see, but I think the real test will come from all their Star Wars games when they put those out.
Oh God, I forgot about that. Yeah, that could be bad.
Because that's gonna be internal. That's gonna be DICE. That's gonna be all their internal studios. Like we'll see if that works or not. And
EA just don't ruin Mirror's Edge 2 until I ask.
I think that's a tall order.
I know.
I'm sorry, but
someone at EA watching the streaming is like, okay, fuck up Mirror's Edge 2. I don't, that's what it feels like sometimes. I think it's terrible. No one's out to make these games bad.
Unfortunately, even bad games require an insane amount of effort, and that's just how it is. It's not easy.
Every aspect, from the fucking intro song to the credit roll text, it was someone busting their ass.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're War Z.
I mean, it's just been the case that they, like with Battlefield, they just overextended themselves and try to do too much, like with, what Ubisoft does, releasing on like 8 different platforms and your refrigerator.
Well, I would say that, but then you look at Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed 4 actually launched successfully.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why they had like 13 different development studios working on it.
But that's true. Yeah, that's true. Okay, I was gonna say the next thing, Call of Duty Ghosts launched pretty well too, but they had a few studios on that.
Yeah.
I think EA just is still trying to fight to be king, and they can't do it.
They rose up above for a little bit there. You remember
did.
that for a couple of years, and then they fucking tanked right back down.
They were even coming out with supporting good new IP like Mirror's Edge and Dead Space, and then they ruined Dead Space and didn't do Mirror's Edge for years, and they're probably going to ruin that.
On that really down note, I think that'll do it for this week. You can check us out on Twitter. I'm at DtoyJordan. Hamza is at CTZ. Dale is at Dale North. Steven is at DtoydSteven. And then we've also got, so this will be going up on YouTube, youtube.com/Dtoyd, as well as iTunes. Just do a search for Destructoid Hardline in Google and you'll get to that, the audio-only version. We'll be back next Wednesday at around this time, 11 a.m. Pacific. So if you want to hang out with us live while we're doing this, we'd love to have you. Thanks for listening.
And at 4 o'clock today, 4 o'clock Pacific, Rick Foom will be hosting another episode of Match Tactics. Otherwise, go to Destructoid.com, check out all our content, and also thank you, Bill Zoker, our lovely producer behind me.
He's waving.
Over there.
I always forget to thank him. This would not be possible without him.
Yeah. Thanks to him. We love you, Bill.
Goodbye, friends at home.
Thanks for watching.
You J-pop in my heart with those threads, girl.